Can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yes, my name's Joan Young, and I work as a volunteer for St John's Ambulance, and I'm an emergency ambulance crew member.
Okay, so why did you decide to join St John's Ambulance then?
I felt that I wanted to do something more with my time. I had more free time, and I wanted to do a volunteer role. I decided on St John's Ambulance because I felt that I could do volunteering and helping other people, and also I could be learning new skills.
Perfect. On a day-to-day duty, what would you maybe be doing?
Well, we start off our duties by we go down and collect our ambulance. It depends on the duty. So if we go down and we have our ambulance, we prepare our ambulance and do our safety checks, and then we would head out to the duty. So it depends whether it's an event. We would meet up with the event organiser, and they would position us in the areas that would be most needed. We may be based in the ambulance, or we may be on the ground and walking around doing things around throughout the event.
And have you ever had to attend a traumatic incident?
Nothing really traumatic. I have attended incidents where we've been like a hurling match, and we had someone called for a scoop. They called for attendance, and he had damaged his leg, but nothing really traumatic.
And when you get to something like that where you've been called, and although it's not very traumatic, obviously it's quite a serious injury, how do you personally feel?
I feel the adrenaline going. You feel that you hope that you have the right skill set, which we've been taught to deal with accidents. So when you go down onto it, you just think about what you need to do. So basically you're just thinking of the person, what the incident may be, because you may not know what that is when you're called. So you're thinking, what am I going to? And making sure you have grabbed all the equipment that you need to attend to any situation.
And once your adrenaline wears off then, do you get kind of down surge, or what's your feelings then?
You sort of start thinking that, have I done everything correct? And you go over everything, and we fill out a form. So we fill out patient report forms. So we record everything on those forms, and just sort of make sure that you have done everything to the best of your ability.
Thanks. You kind of mentioned the right skill set. What kind of training then do you receive?
We receive constant training, so we have classes once a week where we do training skills. We've been learning about using defibrillators. Lately we've been doing things for trauma and training where we would maybe go into a situation at motorbike races, so you deal with somebody coming off the motorbike, or you deal with people at events, maybe you've been having drugs or have just taken that well at the events. So we train to deal with any kind of emergency.
So you're ready for everything?
Yeah.
So on top of the training, do you feel very supported then by St John's?
Very much so, yes. We have got a support system in place, and we have a debriefing afterwards. We're usually not always knowing what you're going to, but if we're working for Northern Ireland Ambulance Service, they would usually tell us sometimes what actually we're going to within the ambulance. But sometimes you don't know what you're going to, but we always talk about that between ourselves, and also we have a pastoral care member who we can go to if we have any concerns.
Excellent. When you have maybe done then a long shift, or you've been on shift for a couple of days, what do you do personally to unwind?
Personally, I like to read and listen to music. So I have a nice hot bath and have my music on, and I would read. And
your husband is also a St John's Ambulance member, so
indeed, yes.
You do the same shifts and things?
We would sometimes work on shifts together. He would drive the ambulance. Driving the ambulance isn't my thing, so I would be the crew member and he would drive the ambulance. So so there's duties, he would do duties when I wouldn't be there as well. He was on duty last week. I was doing driving at Kirkeston for the motorbike races where I wasn't able to do that.
But you can share kind of
yes.
what you've been through that day then?
Yes, we can talk to each other and do that, yeah.
Excellent. Did you, obviously we've just went through a bit of a global pandemic, did you do any St John's work during that period?
I did more duties during that period, but they were different duties than what we'd been used to. Up until the pandemic we had a lot of events duties and sports events and concerts and things like that where we would have done duties. With the pandemic, we were doing more of duties for NIAS, Northern Ireland Ambulance Service, so those duties would entail patient transfer.
Okay.
So we would be taking maybe COVID patients from hospital to nursing home, or taking people with COVID maybe to the nursing home, but we dealt with other emergencies as well within that.
And in regards to COVID then, obviously you had a lot more procedures in place.
Very much so. We had to do more deep cleaning of our ambulance, we had to wear more PPE, we had to be aware of all the new restrictions that were put in place in the hospitals, so we knew that we had to call a security guard to walk us through, or we knew to go to a certain ward straight away.
And with obviously COVID, but you had mentioned not knowing what you're going out to and what your call's for. Do you have any fears every time you kind of accept a job?
It's just the fear that I'm not prepared, but I know that we have been taught the skill set, and when the time comes to use it, I know what to do. You know, you sometimes feel when I do the wrong thing, but then you're always with someone else, and if I'm not 100% sure of the situation, we have a clinical helpline that we would phone. So you're never left on your own, yeah.
So, just to finish off, what is the most rewarding part about volunteering with St John's Ambulance?
I guess it's good that you've got the skills there with the friends, you make new friends, but it's good to see that you've actually been able to help someone, that you have maybe been able to get them back out on the road straight away without them having to go to hospital, because we've been able to deal with it on site. Or getting them to the emergency service that they require, the treatment that they need, getting it quick enough.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time.